Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. Coming up on the last show of 2020. COVID chaos at Eastleigh. The Spitfires' next 3 games have been postponed after a positive test from a player. Will be live at the Silver Lake. Southampton take on Brighton tonight in front of fans for the first time since March. And there's good news from their star player. And Paralympic pioneer Peter Hull tells us about how he's inspiring others at Solent University. Good evening. Eastleigh will be unable to play until Boxing Day. It was announced today that the Spitfires had a positive COVID test from their weekend's games. Kurt Lookout is live from the Silver Lake Stadium. How's it looking down there, Kurt?
Thanks, Sam. We're live down from Eastleigh Football Club, who currently sit 8th in the National League table. Eastleigh welcomed the return of fans to the Silver Lake at the weekend in their 1-0 defeat to Maidenhead. However, in breaking news, there's been an outbreak of COVID after a positive test in the camp. Eastleigh Media and Communications Officer Tom Mulholland said that it's a shame that the players will have to wait longer for fans to return.
Because we've put so much in place, you've got to go through so many protocols, and it was really busy last week, always answering calls, trying to get things set. And then for this to come in, it's a bit of a shame, but obviously we can't do anything about it. And all that means is I think in 2021, we're going to have a lot of fixtures backed up. And that's another chance when fans will be able to come back in and cheer the boys on even more. So it'll be obviously a shame because they wanted to get back in, get to the routine of having fans in. But that will come again as soon as this passes, as long as we make sure everything's safe again, I think.
This COVID outbreak at Eastleigh means that the club has had to shut down completely, which is why we're actually not allowed to stand on the ground due to social distancing measures which are in place at the club currently. After discussions with the National League, Eastleigh have made the decision to postpone the next 3 games and will not be playing until Boxing Day again. Back to you in the studio, Sam.
More good news for Southampton as talisman Danny Ings could be set for a return tonight. The England international has been out injured since the start of November after 5 goals in the opening 7 Premier League games. The Saints travel to the Amex tonight for a South Coast derby clash against Brighton. Southampton fans will be looking forward to returning to St Mary's after a long hiatus. Football fans across the country saw their teams play live for the first time since March this weekend. Here is what the Saints fans can look forward to.
I'm happy for the 2,000 lucky ones who get the chance to see live football again after all that time. But I have no experience with 2,000 people at Anfield, to be honest. So we will see.
It was boss just being back in the stadium, having a few fans around, and it was good.
Actually, I thought it was better than what I thought, to be honest. The atmosphere is as good as you could expect.
I think it should stay at this level for the time being. It's going to be a bit awkward, a bit unusual having such a sort of a small atmosphere, but I think we'll make it what it is.
Solent University teams are looking forward to returning to play in the new year. We are joined by Solent Hull captain Elliot Deeks. Thank you for joining me, Elliot. How are you feeling with the new season now on the horizon?
Feeling a bit apprehensive about the new season. Not as many games, coming faster, coming with everything going on at uni and COVID, so a bit apprehensive about it all.
Have you heard anything about when you're to return, when you'll be able to return to train? Obviously the lockdown has just ended. So.
We went to start training last weekend, but due to the uni shutting down and kicking everyone out, we're having to start up training back in January with games starting in February.
Yeah. And what differences do you kind of anticipate from from last season to this season, just with all the changes that have happened because of COVID?
The league's already said that there's no relegation, no promotion, and the leagues are slightly bigger, but we only play everyone once, whether that's home or away, and then games may be cancelled the night before, morning, even if we're travelling there, they could be cancelled if anything is happening or anything happens with COVID or things like that.
Right. Thank you very much for joining me, Elliot. Solent Kestrel's women's will greet Worcester Wolves this weekend. Kestrels look to gain a win at home following 2 defeats on the road this weekend. Losses to Anglo Ruskin and Ipswich see them in need of a victory as they sit 5th in the league. In cricket, England's one-day international tour against South Africa has been cancelled on medical grounds after an outbreak of COVID-19. 2 hotel workers, a member of the South African team, and 2 positive tests for England have led to the entire series being called off without a ball bowled. The home side's cricket doctor says they will investigate how the virus breached the camps.
We've kind of traversed a couple of different spaces and trying to kind of recount some of the events, speaking to the player, looking at security cameras, looking at other information. And we haven't been able to date to kind of identify where that source was, but clearly is cause for concern.
Despite winning the Autumn Nations Cup, England's style of play has been come into question. They scraped past a weakened France side's 22-19 in yesterday's final. Sections of the fans were audibly displeased, booing the red and white's kicking style during the game. Rugby World's Alan Perry said that this is down to the rugby union's recent rule changes.
New emphasis on the breakdown and tackle laws is making it a higher risk to retain the ball for long spells. So I suppose there's more motivation to kick the ball away. I'm not convinced that what they have in place is necessarily what they need for the long term.
As it happens in any aspects of our lives, mental strength is important, and in the world of sports isn't any different. Coming up, 2 stories that can inspire us all. Javier Fenola reports.
People with 2 different lives, but with something in common. These are the breathtaking stories of Peter Hull, MBE and Mark Hutchins, who share their passion for rugby, but they didn't have a good start in their sporting careers. Peter is the Team Solent wheelchair rugby's chairman. He was born with no legs, but it didn't stop him not only from having an active life, even in a competitive level.
It was swimming that I went into. Competed in my first swimming gala at the age of 10. Long story short, went on to compete internationally. I was invited to be a member of the GB Paralympic squad in 1984.
He went to 2 Paralympics, Seoul in 1988 and Barcelona in 1992, succeeding in both of them after winning gold medals before he retired. To the question whether if he prefers to be player or chairman, here's the answer.
I would prefer to be competing, absolutely. There's no question. But now, because I'm unable to compete at the level I want, then it seemed an obvious move.
Mark, the Team Solent Rugby's captain and president, has got another remarkable story. He started to play rugby when he was in the secondary school, and from that moment he was able to make the change from local to county rugby, which is higher level. But not always were good times for Mark due to injuries.
I was 11 years old when I had my first one. I broke my left collarbone, that put me out for a year. And then about 2 to 3 years later, I broke the exact same collarbone.
He admits that it was a tough period for him.
When you're a young child about, ages 11 to 15, 16, all you want to do is get out and play. And break the same thing twice is a bit of frustrating because you know that you won't be able to play for a period of time.
But there is something that cheered him up.
Coming to university and seeing the team, I decided that I actually have some goals and targets, which is obviously to try and win the league every year when we play.
These 2 stories teach us that there is nothing impossible to achieve, even though we found boundaries during the chase of our dreams.
Racing Point's Sergio Perez earned his first Formula 1 victory at the Sakir Grand Prix, which was expected to be a Mercedes debut victory for George Russell. Perez faces the end of his Formula 1 career, or at least a year-long absence, with the 2021 grid full except for one seat, the second Red Bull seat. It's been confirmed a boxing legend and a YouTube star will go head-to-head in a special exhibition fight. Floyd Mayweather ended his professional career unbeaten in 50 bouts, but will now face Logan Paul. The upcoming fight comes after 2 exchanged insults over social media, with Paul, who boasts just 1 professional fight, threatening to ruin the former 5-weight world champion's legacy. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have happy holidays and see you again in the new year.